Okay. Bottle of sulfur resin, extreme warm ancient remedy for various. Okay, I need to know whoever owns this stand. I assume it's by proximity and it's you. Stranger.
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
You know, there are many comments I could make this to parallels to our own. I think the developers of this made their opinion on this very clear with this dialogue. Hey, local republic. Yeah. Yep. You see the absurdity in that logic? I need a weapon because someone else could get a weapon. The game is not pulling punches. I'm telling you that, and I like that about that. FYI, I'm just gonna drop this here. I need to see this because I got the game on Game Pass. I need to know how much it is. It's only $20. $20. I have to say, this is an incredible game for that price. Like, holy hell, only $20. Okay, let's speak. Sinner. It's a smith of sorts. So Virgil is the warm brother, I guess. And German, it seems from the accent.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil.
Oh.
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people, that kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Oh, this physically hurts. You know, I know I'm German myself. And it just hurts because I have been learning to speak English, well, like an English speaking person, and not have my accent in there. Like him, and I don't know, it's... maybe it is just so recoiling to me when I hear that. Yes, here's a very, that is a very German accent, yes. That is one of the thickest German accents I have heard in a long time in a video game. And it's just that I had some people in my old school, in my class, I went to school with, they were really bad at English. And this just reminds me of that, because they had that typical, stereotypical German accent when speaking, and it's just... I didn't notice. Okay, let him speak more.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake, and allows us to fish and farm.
Oh, it's just, it hurts, it hurts. Ironically, I can't do that. Not as good. When I try to do it, it comes off as forced. And I don't know how to describe it. This quote-unquote natural German accent, it is very hard for me to do. Because instinctively, I try to pronounce it right. See, I can't even do it. Subconsciously, I'm trying to correct myself. I can't force myself to do it. I really have to think hard about doing it wrong. Sure, through basic German pronunciation, I can say some things with the right German accent, like the right, or the rest of is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm. Sounds like trying to withdraw for a flag. It's kinda there. It's weird to explain how to try this. It's, let's say the R's and S's are pronounced very different, which may be the cause for that. It is more throat-based. It's somewhere between throat and mouth, where you have most of the pronunciation for this. Okay, if they bring water into the city, go to use it to escape.
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
You hear this discreet? This, it's not the R. You have try, discreet, and then you have to try to be discreet. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, tell me about the temple on the bluff.
Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
Another thing you hear him do, which is very typical for people who speak with a German accent in English, is that with that, this, and generally TH sound, they don't say the, that, this, then, but they more go with an S sound. This, then, sie. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I have learned my English teacher for almost 10 years in school was not 10 years, 8 years, in almost 8 years in school, was someone who Daddy does where's my cross. Okay, let us mix up various cultures there, okay? We won't go there. But no, my English teacher was married to a British person, and she lived with him in Britain for about 30 years. And she tried to teach us English how she experienced it over there, learned it, and basically British English. So I can't for the life of me get in my head how you can go from that to that. Raider, very simply, der, die, and das are the. You have in English the book, the table, the sun, the moon. In German, those are, they have gender. Der is masculine, die is feminine, and das is neutral. Yeah. Okay. Tell me about the city history.
I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
Oh, but isn't it common for Romans to copy Greek enough?
Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine?
Yeah.
If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell. Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Okay, let me...
I'm not sure. It could mean that the Romans who first started building here, or it could mean that they were Greek who...
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
No.
But... I'm up... Of course.
Okay, what do you think about the Golden
Some
Rule?
people say it's divine. the work of a god. But I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care. Which means one of two things.
Yeah.
Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you? Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers. The first is to leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option.
You mean his hair is too modern? His hairstyle is too German? Sorry, I'm having a little bit too much fun. I mean, it physically hurts me a little bit to hear this because I don't know. I had just bad experience with this accent, but
I'm glad. It's best if I say no more, but I hope you give it some thought.
yeah, thought. Sorry, whoever had to voice him. I'm deeply sorry for saying such things, but it's just... I can't. I just can't.
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagos, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong. It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Oh, come on. The absurdity that is unfolding here. So we have an ancient gay German that lives in Rome that hates Christians. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Oh, excellent. Oh god, no. Okay, someone murdered. Can I please report murder? Boy. Again, we have an ancient German living with Romans who hates Christians. An ancient gay German living with Romans hating Christians. Intelligence answer, I'm not ancient. Not denying the other things.
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one God, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule. What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
We know who it is. We know who it is. Rufius. So it was a letter, not to the Christians. He himself, as we suspected, is Christian and is writing the letter to Virgil.
Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the golden rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway. Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Novio Magus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
Okay, how are we going? I cannot talk to you about the bow, can I?
Any news about my...
This is why we need bows, so the gay Germans can protect themselves from the Christians. Oh no!
Oh, that's alright. I'm sure it'll take time. Not...
Ah, yeah, he is a carpenter. A customary note. Virgil, they may not see you yet, but I want you to know I see you. That could mean two things.
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in there, it has to be important.
Okay. Cook or medicine? Medicine, probably. Okay, yeah, that statue moves as well. Shopping list. Villa on the 2-horse chariot seat on the side 4-horse chariot. Well, man's got his priorities straight.
Salve.
Oppius the thief stole my purse and I...
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius.
I'm Dacius.
You mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale. All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave. Fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, hoping to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing through a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done. Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. Naturally, I dived in after it, hoping to salvage my fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When
Sadly, we don't have the
I
kill
washed up
option.
on the riverbank, not far from here, with
Yet.
nothing in the world but a single silver coin. Thank you, friend. But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune, because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here. I don't, I'm afraid. But I did overhear Fabia telling Georgius she saw something. She was headed to the baths not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk. Oh, well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet. Thank you, friend. I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some
Oh, I
people
know
here are
about
a little
that.
shady for my liking. Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us? Certainly. Very well. Another time.
Okay, we haven't found Iolea yet. Well, I think we have a bakery here. Ah, loaf of bread. Loaf of bread. Can I get more loaf? Stop loafing around. A mill. Click, click.
Fortune smile on you, brother.
Galerius.